Let's go.
Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast, where we expand your personal universe. I'm Diana Marquetta, and in each episode, Soul Fam co-founder, co-creator Lexi Stromer-Solden and I interview the world's most rising and longtime experts in consciousness, spirituality, entertainment, healing, and science. From Earth's dimensions and dimensions way, way beyond. On the Soul Fam podcast, our frequencies are high and your heart chakras will open as these powerful voices of today share cutting-edge research, profound experiences, and valuable knowledge for your world in this out-of-this-world, thought-provoking, envelope-pushing interviews that could only take place right here on the Soul Fam podcast. Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast. On today's episode, please remember to like and subscribe at the end of this episode. If you get way to the end of it, we are going to focus on energy, all of the magnificent change that's happening on the earth, throughout the galaxy as well. Sujan Datta, who has been our guest on this show before and who was, in fact, our very, 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 very first guest when we were just doing audio. He is a bioenergetic healer, a spiritual advisor, and truly, in my own estimation, he is a sage and a mystic in his own right.
Wow, thank you. That's so sweet of you.
I can say it from my own experience, having worked with you, golly, almost at least 15 years ago, maybe even.
I think it's even longer. I think it's in the 20.
We're not that old.
We're not that old. That was like when we were in the cribs, you know?
Yeah. You're doing the magic then. Hey, that's probably true. But you did really help me get through a time. There was a moment where I was sort of having a few panic attacks, and it was sort of at the very beginning of not the very beginning, but I was going through the process of ascension and not really understanding. And you did a magnificent job at helping me to really feel calm and safe in my own body, and to have a better understanding of what was really happening to me on a cellular level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everybody's different, and we gotta, there's no one particular framework per se. And, I've been doing this business for 25 years. So, as I've grown, so has my practice, and I'm able to see people's patterns right away. Like, I'm very intuitive, as you know, but your audience may not know that I'm very intuitive, and I read eyes. The eyes tell me a lot. And as I'm focusing on your eyes, I'm seeing the energies around you, in you, etc. So based on that information, I ask questions. It's really about asking questions rather than giving you a whole bunch of do this, do that. Because together we can formulate that, what you need to focus on or need to expand on, whatever the situation may be. And panic attacks are really about our need to control the future. It's the anxiety, it's the anxiousness. Oh my God, is this going to really happen? Is this not going to happen? What if, most of our society is all about what if this happens? And we go into a state of fear versus being present. And what I've learned through my own practice and from my own healing, because, I guess you can call me that wounded healer, or maybe my path is for ascension towards what I feel is a state of enlightenment, a state of really honoring who I am as I am. And what does that mean, really? And what I found as I'm writing a book right now called Supercharged, and it's still in, it's funny how in the last, I would say this 2025, so much information is coming down or I'm realizing by going up, wherever it is, there's a center point. What the quantum physicists would say the 0 point. And it's really about acceptance, right? And the information coming through is, it's streamlining what it is that I need to focus on. So, I'm breaking the book into knowing what you are, which is completely consciousness or energy, knowing who you are, basically, what is it from that field of what I am, which is everything, yet nothing. And that's true for all human beings, all plants and animals, you name it. Everything is energy. Knowing what it is that I'm here to be goes into how I serve, which is really what most people are looking to find out. My purpose, why am I here? All these questions that surround our destiny or legacy. There's so many different ways of saying that same thing. So I've broken it into 3 sections, and wow, I mean, people really need some guidance, and the guidance is not so much about the ego personality. It's really knowing that if you align to your consciousness, which is ever expanding, towards the infinite consciousness or supreme intelligence, God, sometimes I call God Gus, God, universe, spirit, that we're here to create, right? So the creator of everything created us to create. And as above, so below type of that's what we're following or trying to understand. So I feel we're at a junction right now where people are asking a lot of questions, right? And a lot of people are going through what they call the dark night of the soul.
Definitely.
And having gone through multiple moments, situations, years sometimes, I think in the last couple of years, if not more, it was time for me to really dig deep, even deeper than I thought. You think you go through something and that was the lesson. Okay. But within the lesson, there's more lessons, and you keep going down and down to your core, to the roots, only to find out that you are simply an energy. And sorry, I'm taking your time. I know you have questions. So,
you're answering all the questions without me having to ask them. It's beautiful.
Sorry. I get into this flow and it just comes through me. Like, one of the pinnacle things that we have to remember is that life happens through us, not to us. Okay? And this is something, whether, right now everybody's onto this manifestation of science. I'll call it that. And Neville Goddard being one of them. And there's a whole host of people I could, name. And then there's, for me, it's, my connection to Yogananda and the Vedic and the yogic system. And then I've gone through so many different, I'll call it dogmas. I don't want to just call it religion.
Systems.
But they all say the same thing. So,
right. Exactly.
So manifestation is so key right now for people. And, I read Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, I don't know, 25 years, 24 years ago. And it's hot now more than ever. When you go to social media, everybody's talking about manifestation, whatnot. But I needed to kind of revisit that. And as we talk more, I'll explain. And act as if is another thing. And, your spiritual beings having a human experience. Those are the beginnings of finding out the power, the alchemy, the magic that sits inside each one of us. We are all worthy, and it's our birthright to live the experience that we choose,
I want to back up just a minute and talk a little bit about what you said. First of all, I don't know if your book is quite ready to be published or if this is a work in progress. And if we get to learn what the name of the book is, or if you're still sort of sorting that out, because we want to be on the alert for it soon.
This is my 5th version.
Exciting. It's
So
exciting.
this is the final version that I'm going through. But thank you for asking. I'm hoping, I don't like the word hope. My intention is to have it all ready by the end of the year because I wanted to launch it at the beginning of 2025, but it just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been working on a lot of different things, but I think I need to first put out the book is going to be called Supercharged or I Am Supercharged.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still looking for a tagline that's appropriate. But yeah, that's, and you know, from previous times that I've been on your show, I'm all about acronyms and frameworks so that's easy for people to remember. A sequence of what one has to do to go deeper or to be blissful or to know, for instance, vivid imagination, VIVID is something that I talked about in your previous show, where if you don't know this part, which is who you are, then if you don't build that foundation, how are you supposed to move forward to anything? And who are you listening to? These are the kinds of questions that I ask. Like, where'd you get that belief from? So V stands for values. I stands for identity. Who are you? It's not about repetition of mantras and affirmations and all these. Those are all tools. But what are you building as a belief system that is connected to your consciousness, which is the witness or the observer of everything? And there's a voice in between called the ego that's telling you why you're so wrong or bad or how do I stay safe. But so going back to Vivid, so I go over the map. And then V, the second V is vision. What is it that you're trying to create? What is it that you really want to experience? The next I is intention. Why? Why do you want this so bad? How does it align to your values and your identity? And then D is destiny. How well did you love? What is it that, how did you make an impact in the people that you love? How did you make an impact in your community, et cetera, et cetera? So how are you serving your purpose? So if you got to know that first, and that's what I start with most of my clients, is to start with the vivid imagination as an example.
When you were just talking about how there's the difference between life happening to you and life happening through you, what do you feel like the energetic flow is in relation to the through versus to?
Well, when we see life as happening to us, we get into a consciousness of victimhood. So we think we're just some energy in the middle of wherever and that everything is on us. And anything bad happens, or you become a victim, or I'm not good enough is a great example. So then you're listening to others outside of you. But the reality is life is happening through us. You are the creator of your reality. Every thought, every belief, every word that you speak is being broadcasted out. And as that's being broadcasted out, what's happening is the universe is matching that vibrational frequency that is coming out of you. So life happens inside out versus outside in. But most people are falling victim to the outside world. And right now, our world is so divided and separated. Which side do I pick?
Right.
Well, you don't. You pick you. You pick what makes sense for you. And you can call that a Buddhist way or just going down the middle is what's important as the observer, the witness, the consciousness. Because life is happening based on your consciousness, not the mind. And I'll explain that later. That's a big piece of meat that I like to talk about later.
Well, that's extremely important right now because I personally am feeling the dualistic split very, very severely. So, and there's a tendency, I don't feel this politically, I feel this in our consciousness and in our ability to communicate with one another. So I feel very strongly personally that things are very, very split right now. And there's that side and there's this side. And so
Right.
there's this tendency to feel the pressure to choose. So I
Yes.
appreciate that you say it's most important to choose yourself at this time.
Absolutely. And that's what, understanding what you are comes first, right?
Right.
So were you really created to choose a side?
Mm-hmm.
The the thing is, if you don't love yourself first, how can you really contribute the way that you're here to contribute? And it doesn't always have to be a CEO of a company or some
Mm-hmm.
leader. It's being a great mother or father.
Mm-hmm.
It's really understanding that you're a creative force of that thing, that creator Gus that we just said, or
Mm-hmm.
because that energy that comes from wherever, the universe will call it, is also known as prana, chi, Holy Spirit. In the quantum world, it's called unified field, where everything that exists is already done in that field. It's already there. What we are a speck, a hologram of that infinite, and we have been given a mission
Mm-hmm.
to express in a way that contributes to the whole, the collective. So that's what we're attuning to. We hear about attunement and ascension and all these buzzwords. Bottom line, we have to go to a place of love within our heart, because the heart is the tuner, if I can call it that. It's the place where it takes the spirit and brings it to matter. It tunes the frequency based on what we are here to broadcast or emanate. So, it's like a radio station. Let's say my radio station is 99.9.
Right.
And when I'm aligned to that, it's crystal clear. It's the songs that I love, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But most of us, including myself for a while, and maybe still in a static, I hear the station, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, so I'm going back and forth trying to tune in. So all particles, beings, hearts are tuned to a frequency. And when we are totally aligned, we're harmonizing ourselves to the exact frequency or vibration of who we are, knowing that we are an alchemist, knowing that we're a magician, knowing that we're creative forces of God flow, if I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are there, our nervous system relaxes, our cells repair. We become more sensitive to energies around us because everything's a mirror around us, showing us where we are too. Those are clues. And then we see angel numbers or coincidences, or angels. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. That means you're in synchronization, and it happens more and more. And you can only do that when you get to a place of calm. Not all this outside forces pick, a side. I pick my side and flow with a tribe of people who believe in what I believe in. Not 8 billion people are going to follow me or follow you or whatever. It's just enough so that we can broadcast like a lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I call myself a lighthouse these days because it's not about the chasing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about grounding into you, right? So that generates the love that comes through us, the prana, the original force of energy comes through us. And what we project out is our decision. And hopefully it's about compassion, gratitude, creation, harmonization, God consciousness, because it organizes the energy. So there's some symmetry and coherence and harmony. These are the words that we're hearing now more and more. And people are going, yeah, I get that. And we're trying to collapse that chaos around us into creating a better, more expansive way versus this constrictive energy.
So I want to go back to a term you just used about projection and how. So can you explain that? Because I feel like that's an important aspect of both manifestation and then kind of trying to get us to where we all kind of are in coherence.
Right. Okay. So first of all, we must understand that we're not adding energy. We are becoming the energy, because when we came out of the hatch, we were closest to God consciousness or God or the divine or unified field. We were more perfect then than we are now, because I call ourselves imperfect perfections, right? So it's the unlearning of all the stuff that you've experienced to this point to really realize that you are a divine creature. You are a limitless being. Okay. So the projection is really about an energy or a frequency. So, and it's centered in the heart. Now, what we're projecting is usually a vision and how we think life has to be. And a lot of it comes from a space of fear. First of all, we believe that we have to be safe and secure. You remember Maslow, right? And Maslow says that's what we start off with: safety, security. So the water, the clothing, the home, money, right? And then we rise up to this need for connection and love. And I'm simplifying the pyramid, and I'm just saying what we're trying to do is self-actualize, self-realize that we are always safe, we are always loved, we are creators. So what we're projecting is this energy of my beliefs, thoughts, my consciousness. And rather than chasing people to, hey, I believe in Jesus, instead of doing that, become Jesus-like, right? You're projecting a vibration to magnetize people, circumstances, whatever it is that you need to you by broadcasting or projecting this vibrational frequency. People feel it. And so that's what projection means to me.
That's a healthy projection.
Healthy projection, right?
Right.
But we are also surrounded by people who are doing projections as well, right? Everybody's projecting or emanating. So,
that's really helpful.
When we are confronted by people that are not the like mind, we get into arguments or whatever. We kind of ask ourselves, why is this bothering me? Why is it so important to me to fight this or whatever?
Right.
Because there's a part of that person that's in front of you that's in you at that level of consciousness that you are present to, right? So if somebody's, I don't know, very confident and arrogant, and you're going, who the F does that person think they are? Well, there's a part of you in there, which we get to find out. It may not be one answer. It could be several different things that you learn. This goes against my beliefs. My parents told me never be arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Or how come they get everything? Why are they so, there's different reasons. Right. And that's what we're trying to do in our path to the ascension, on our journey to self-realization, to really align to a space of our truth, and what is our truth? And that's what we're trying to discover, So that's where that other framework that I have, which I've shared on your show, act with facts. So what does that mean? A stands for awareness. That's key. What is it that is in your consciousness? C is, are you committed to the version of you that was originally designed to serve a certain way? T is truth. What is the truth? Are you applying? Do you realize that you're a divine being, a spiritual being, and so forth? With facts. Well, how do you get there? You need to forgive. F is forgive. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others. And now you're more in tune and aligned to the love vibration. A, acceptance rather. accepting that you are who you are and you were built the way you are. It's like, okay, I didn't realize until now that those misunderstandings and mistakes and all that were there to help me learn. See, compassion. Like, this ego is always blaming himself, right? We're so critical and judgmental of ourselves a lot of the time. Oh, I screwed up. I could have done better, da, 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 on and on and on. So we need to have self-compassion. Whatever you want, like I said before, you have to be. If you want loyal, loving, compassionate, kind human beings around you, you gotta give it to yourself. And believe that you're deserving of that. And then T is trust, trusting that whatever you're doing is for the highest good. And S is between two S's, surrender, so to be in the flow, or service. Serve, you're here to serve. And that service is a button of abundance, actually. It's a cycle of giving and receiving. And a lot of people have a hard time receiving and they get frustrated. I keep giving and I'm not getting. I want to have $1 million in the bank, but this, we have so many different examples of how we have an inability because our palms are closed, our hearts are closed to receive. Oh, I want to find the love of my life. Meanwhile, you got your heart closed. You got a wall built around it because you want to stay safe, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to give and receive. So that and the surrender is surrendering all those beliefs that no longer are working for you.
Right.
And trusting. You know, how many times do I hear, I know, like I'll give all these suggestions. I know, right? Well, we have to turn at this point in time, like never before, as we all ascend to a new earth, to I flow. Not to judge, just to be the witness. That's how you're creating a higher vibration and higher consciousness. So once you're in flow, you get to grow. I know to I flow to I grow. And the growth is an expansion, just like the universe, as above, so below, is constantly expanding. The universe is receiving our input, by the way.
Right.
It's not just giving. Like, we think it's just one way. It's actually a two-way. But we don't realize that. And then, what was I saying?
Well, I want to pause here. I want to ask this question because that give and take between us and the universe, and then the fact that we're in this time to really flow and surrender, to allow. If you're in that state right now, that happens like this because of the energetics. Am I understanding how strong the energetics are on the planet at this time, and how the shifts in the galaxy's energy really are shifting our flow and surrender?
Yeah, 2025, so many different energies that, I'm not an expert, but the Schumann resonance has been all over the map. It's amplified, it's gone down. There's been zones where there's no energy, there's downloads, there's uploads, there's all kinds of stuff that's happening from a cosmic space. And, astrology can be a great, useful tool. And there are experts, I'll say, that know better than I do, but I just have a feeling, and that feeling is accessed by my heart. And then I meditate, and that draws more information, which is the downloading. So yeah, we are, we've been hearing about the eras shifting from an age of the Pisces, which has been all this stuff that we've been going through, which is abundance, information, and all that. But we're entering age of Aquarius, which is really about loving, which is about sharing, which is about connection. So that is happening right now, even though it doesn't seem like it, because we have so many distractions around us right now.
Is that part of the point? By the way, is that part of the point, our little spiritual war that's going on here, or our big spiritual war, that we're so drawn by the distractions are on purpose as we're actually ascending into this greater frequency, and all of us feel it. I mean, there are people so awake all over this planet right now, whether they understand it or not, or can pinpoint it or not. So talking about the distractions, yet knowing and kind of inherently in our souls that this is it. Like we're shifting like that so fast, and manifestation or your thoughts or your projections, they come back like whammadoo.
Right. Everybody's in a different stage right now. So I'm loving the fact that we have access to information like never before, and that we can share our perception of the day, because I don't know how it's going to change tomorrow. So I think the more that is revealed on what is going on outside, the more deeper we are going to figure out what's right for us. I think the overall experience is about harmonization. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But this spiritual warfare, if we can call it that, the warfare is happening in each one of us. We think it's out there. It's really happening within us, because if we are a fragment or a holograph of the whole, then what we're trying to do is all come together in non-dualism, okay? Which is, there's no duality, there's no cause and effect. That's where we're headed. We're headed into the glow, from I know to I glow, enlightenment. So that, okay, I'm gonna go here.
Go.
So Yogananda, who's my great granduncle, father of yoga, blah blah blah. I'm connected to him as well as
by
a
blood.
team. Yes, by blood and energy,
He's
whatever you want to call it. And so there could be a possibility in the land of infinite possibility is that the planet vibrates so high that it becomes like the sun, in the emanation of the sun. So that when this planet lights up, it lights up planets that we can't even see. And this perception has allowed me to understand from my experience what it is. I'm trying to become the glow, part of the glow. And if I can glow and help you glow and so forth, then we can actually do that. But right now we are experiencing such duality and separateness that we can't see clearly. But the world is a mirror of what's my consciousness, then where am I being, red or blue? Where am I being good or bad, or whatever it may be? Where am I being dual versus being in the middle? Like a light bulb has two poles, negative and positive. The light doesn't happen on the positive end, and certainly doesn't happen on the negative end. It's the acceptance that both exist that creates the middle, the light.
Well, that's beautiful. And that is so simple.
Yes.
And I'm transfixed by this explanation and this suggestion. And I've been trying to understand this from my specific purpose, also just my understanding of frequency and the use of that to heal us. And that we are in fact more important than we think we are in relation to the galaxy. So if we become the sun, that's cool. This is like a Beatles song, but better.
Yeah. And okay, so if it's not the sun, it's the lighthouse, right?
Yeah.
The brighter the light that emanates from your lighthouse, you're not chasing. You're just, I'm grounded here. This is where I'm going to stay. And I'm going to magnetize or bring in the ships that need my help to give them direction to where they belong and create their lighthouse. And then once we're all lighthouses, we're like beaming like the sun rays. And I don't know the timing, but, I think what you were alluding to earlier was, there's horizontal living and vertical living. And we talk about quantum shifts. And one of the ways is to realize your power. It's to realize that you are divine. You're a wave of the great ocean. right? And that all possibilities exist. All infinite possibilities exist. All you're doing is choosing the one that aligns to the encoded frequency, vibration that the higher self has brought into your soul, to your heart, and our job is to emanate that light. Unfortunately, we have grown up in a system where we're controlled, and then because we've been controlled to think a certain way, we're trying to unlearn that so that we can drop the walls that we've all created around our heart to emanate the light. So taking the bricks of the wall and creating it into a bridge versus a wall. And then as a bridge, you can take it up and down as you need to, always maintaining the openness. So I'm big on analogies, sorry.
I love it.
That's the quantum shift is the quantum choice, the quantum consciousness choosing to go from the timeline that you're on now to another possibility that's happening now, all at the same time. That's what we're learning through quantum science, that everything's happening, past, future, whatever direction, all at the same time. So manifestation is really about shifting your consciousness to a knowing, or if you already know, becoming, embodying that vibrational frequency, that radio station that automatically takes you to the people, the circumstances, the gifts, everything.
With that existence. So is it about shifting the timeline rather than or is it about us doing it simultaneously, shifting something within myself as I'm shifting into the timeline at the same time?
It's you're using the tool of visualization, going back to vivid. You know what you value, you know who you are, you know what your vision is and what the intention behind it is to create your destiny. You got to know that, right? That's part of the manifestation process. And then figuring out what the blocks are from me actually getting it done, right? And then so in order to make that quantum shift, you have to completely shift your consciousness to align to vivid, your true purpose, your true identity. And then when you do that, when you're aligned, now you get to move vertically up to whatever spot you want, whatever version. You're changing the version of you to the version that you want to be. I'll say it that way.
Right. Or intended to be.
Intended to be. So it's about, act as if. Start with the end in mind. These are some of Neville Goddard's teachings. And it's been said by others too, but
right.
he
Charlie
comes to
Munger
mind.
Said it. Warren Buffett actually said it too. He wrote his own obituary. So did Charlie Munger.
Okay. So what you're doing is believing that you are the being that embodies the characteristics or the vibration of the timeline that you truly want to experience. So you could have the same city with the same buildings and all that, but when your consciousness rises to that level, the circumstances, the people, everything start to shift. All of a sudden you're abundant, you're giving and receiving, and now your bank account has $1 million versus where it had 2 cents. Whatever it may be that you are projecting out, broadcasting. And it's not on a vertical timeline, right? The vertical is time and space. The more I work harder, the more I'll get, and so forth. The duality, cause and effect, is still there. You're going beyond cause and effect. You're going beyond karma. You're honoring you because you're the center of the universe in your world, and you're the creator of that reality. We've been bamboozled to think that there's an outer authority that runs our life, and there's no freedom in that. And we're told we're free, but really, are we? Where are we not free? So I hope that explains it.
Yeah, it explains it completely. I think Actually, it's super refreshing and kind of gives me a whole new energetic alignment with the sense of manifestation and understanding my true identity. I mean, I think this is my sort of my goal. It is my goal to be my true identity. It's a matter of alignment and integrity as well. And once I'm in that integrity of my true identity, then everything becomes, I mean, easy is part of the word, but it's really about that flow. It's about the shift into that beingness that I really want to be.
Right, right. And here's the thing, people are memorizing stuff. They're not doing the work. They're looking for that magic pill that takes them into the quantum shift almost. I'll say it that way to be nice.
It's true.
And if it's not happening yet, it's because you're not in tune yet, right? And the attunement is about heart and mind. There has to be coherence, a frequency that harmonizes the heart and mind. So all your thoughts, beliefs, intentions are in your mind. And if you have a nice, calm nervous system, the coherence becomes very strong to the heart, the emotions, your intuition, your feelings. So what happens is the nervous system calms down and there's a harmony and balance, emotional regulation. So much judgment around, oh, you got to work on your emotional regulation, narcissist, on and on. There's always judgment. Focus on you. You got to take responsibility for you. Anyway, so what you're trying to do is take that dial that's within your heart and set it to a point that totally aligns where the right music is happening. You're on the right radio station, because you can't get to manifestation when you're still struggling with what's in your mind. Okay? So there's resistance and doubt. There's disbelief and scattered thoughts and overthinking and all the stuff that we do. Let's ruminate over the past. How can I make it better in the future? Being present, right? What are the doubts? That's the self-understanding, which is also a loving act. And then we have these conflicting intentions, right? I want this. In our mind, it's like, I'm kind of scared,
Right. Can I handle that?
And Simon says, right? And there's a non-trust within ourselves. So that's not coherent, right? And then when there's energy leaks, here's the worst part. Your environment from which you are digesting from will alter your state of consciousness if you allow it. So toxic people, toxic environments, okay? The people who are mirroring you with negativity or stealing your energy vampires and so forth. We all get corded in our will center. I mean, I won't go down that whole, because I'll take another hour to talk about, but those are some of the things. And again, going back to that, our attachment to time and space, the horizontal living, that we can't see anything beyond what we believe is there.
Right.
And we're caught up with seeing as believing versus believing is seeing. And then if you get into believing is seeing, and then you get to see what your beliefs can actually bring, and there's a cycle. Believing is seeing, and now you're seeing more and more of your beliefs. Sorry. So now you're actually manifesting what you truly want to experience and serve.
I love that. I love believing is seeing, and it's such a simple, easy mantra to carry throughout your entire day, throughout all of your waking moments, and even into your dreamland.
Yeah, because, it's the beliefs that are effing us.
Right.
Truly.
But they're part of our identity. So the belief is an aspect of our true identity.
Yes. But where's the source of that belief? Is it from fear or love? So in my book, I'm starting to write formulas, and the basic formula is bliss equals love over fear. So the bigger the fear, the less the bliss. The greater the love, the greater the bliss. And why do I use bliss? Because Ananda means bliss in the Vedic or Yeah, Yogananda is the love for yoga, bliss of yoga. So Satchitananda is a common term in my world, and Sat means truth, Chit means consciousness or knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. So that's what we're here to be.
We're here to be
And
bliss.
we're here to be bliss. That's the gift that God has given everybody, in my opinion. We just forgot. So
that's a soundbite. Definitely a soundbite. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sujan, your birthday puts you on a whole other level.
Well, it's been in the making for a while, and I really, appreciate you giving me this space and time to speak with you, because when I speak to you, all kinds of stuff just unravels without me being in this, here are the 10 questions I'm going to ask you, and then I'll be prepared. And really, when I talk to you, it just flows, and it raises my vibe, and I hope it helps raise the people that you serve, as well as yourself. But we're all in this together, and we're all trying to figure it out. We're all pieces of the puzzle until we actually become a whole picture, right? It's like when all the pieces we're here to share our experiences, our stories, our narratives, and help each other say, okay, what did you learn from that? And in that learning, oh, this is what I learned, and what did you learn? The dialogue is so important, but we're so fearful of dropping our masks. Because if I don't pretend to be who I think I should be, then nobody's going to love me or like me. And so then we get into this, coconut, or become a hermit, which I did for 2 years, to be honest. I needed space and time to unlearn all the crap that I've learned over the years, to finally, I feel a new level of confidence that I can't even explain. And it's shifted my practice as a biotech healer, life architect, spiritual advisor, because I'm closer to my truth than ever.
Exactly.
And so the frequency, the alignment, I feel close because of all the synchronicities and all the stuff that I am seeing because of my believing, has brought me to this moment in time where I feel very present, right? And can I just take 2 minutes about creating our inner organization? I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry. And to be really in alignment, you've got to say the CEO is the heart, not the mind. The mind is actually the CEO. So the C, I'm writing this in my book, that's what I want to share it with you. CEO is the vision, right? It's the tone, it's the vibration, it's what the heart truly sings to and wants to harmonize to. We go to logic and mind a lot and think that's the thing that is going to get me where I want to get to. But no, it's the one that takes those orders from the heart and directs it, executes it, coordinates it. Okay, with all the tools, visualization, journal writing, nature walks, whatever your thing is. And then the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, is your nervous system, where it's the currency, the energy that's flowing, right? And then you have the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, is how are you expressing your voice? What are you broadcasting outward? What do you think so far?
I think the C-suite really works for you.
Okay. And managers are your endocrine system, and the staff is all the cells, and so forth and so forth. But the board of directors is your ancestors, your spirit, right? So we're asking questions from the board of directors when we get into an issue or get snagged or blocked. How would you handle this? So, and that's where, for me, when I'm in a meditative, calm state, I get my answers.
Okay. So is this where we wrap up, Sujan? Because I feel like this is a book. This is such a beautiful ensemble of both spiritual and, walking around 3D attunement in such easy to follow digestible, spiritually enhanced way.
Thank you. Yeah, listen, one last thing. If you are feeling agitated in any which way with people, circumstances, your job, etc., the number one thing is go to the heart and calm yourself to a stillness as best as you can. Because by calming your nervous system, you're no longer in a state of fear, closer to love. And in a state of calm, whether it's breathing, breath work is incredible. Just to take a deep breath a few times, a cycling will automatically signal to the sympathetic nervous system that everything's cool.
To my CFO.
Parasympathetic said the opposite, right? So that calm is what's going to give you the strength, the courage, the questions, everything to take the next step. And we ignore that all the time. We just get into it and we can't come out of it. And, as a healer, that's the first place I take my clients to really calm themselves down, bring the energy higher, so to speak, into a beta wave to an alpha wave, then to a theta wave. And miracles are real. Mm. And they do happen when you get to that consciousness that you are the creator of your reality.
Beautiful. So, how do we get in touch with you? Please help us on our spiritual journeys. What's the best way? Are you going to be working in public anytime soon, doing any little speeches, not little, but any public engagements, as well as online? How do we find you?
Yeah, right now I am restructuring everything. Mm-hmm. And so I have a website, sujondata.com. You can definitely see what I'm about in the last few years, but now I'm going to retool that because I want to create a new tribe called Love More Nation. So I've taken everything that I've learned and I'm putting all my energies toward creating an access point through Love More Nation, where people are sovereign to themselves, but contributing to the nation and sharing, as well as, I will be teaching, and doing live streams and all that stuff that people like, I guess. And it's got to be very flexible. So I'm working Love More Nation. I'm working on the book Supercharged for the 5th time. And I'm on Instagram, Sujon Data Healer, where I put funny things, but, spiritual things. I mix it up.
Yeah.
Because what Yogananda teaches is to be a smile millionaire. And with the tariffs, it's probably smile billionaire now, but,
Could be so trillionaires coming.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably the best way.
So we can book a session with you or a lot. Or you will do group sessions as well. Is that correct?
And if you want to, email me personally, it's sdataboy at gmail.com. I mean, Instagram is probably the best place, and you can DM me and I'll get right to you, to be honest.
You are very good at that.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know quite how to wrap this up because you've offered so much to everyone, but I feel as though we've entered a whole new era of being and a whole new way of even communicating with one another. This sense of ease and being ourselves, perhaps, may be the biggest blessing of this new time.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Thank you. And actually, a question comes to mind for you. You've been hosting or a lot of different types of speakers and people, there's a real traction that's happening now, and your guests are so interesting. What are they saying will help shift us collectively? Or is that even a thing? Or what's your sense of what's happening now? Because you're right on the pulse right now in the now of all these different perspectives, right?
What seems to have been coming up most strongly is that we have really done the healing. We've worked through so many blocks. We've all shred ourselves to death, our ancestors, our energy, our physicality. our mindfulness, our emotions, and that what's really the next phase is activation. And that we are moving into not only our own personal activations, we each have a key frequency, which you sort of touched on. And that is becoming, if we're activating that within ourselves, that activates all of us. And that we are activating to a higher frequency just by doing that.
Right. So it's true that this planet becomes sun-like. I get there's a lot of people who've done the healing, and we can see that through social media maybe and podcasts and whatnot. But do you think we're close, or what do you think?
Do I think we're close to being healed? I mean, we're never going to be healed, but because we always there's always more trauma, there's always more stuff to work through, but we're at a tipping point. So that I think that's probably fair to say. We're definitely at a tipping point because there's definitely more than 1%. I mean, there's a good 10%. I mean, or more. I don't know. I haven't done any population studies, but there's we're beyond that. There's enough awareness, even just awareness shifts things. Whether you're deeply working on yourself or you're going to a mindfulness meditation or a silence meditation, or you're actively working in your community with spirituality, that awareness itself has already shifted the planet. And we're going to get on a 3D horizontal level, go through some more crapola. But on a spiritual and consciousness level, we've already shifted. And now it's a point of activation, and that we're going to move our frequency even higher. We are becoming new beings.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that just kind of, I'll use the word mirrors what I believe too, that it's already there.
Definitely.
And so that's what I meant when I spoke of that earlier. Whenever that was, that we have to unlearn the things that we think we needed to be safe and sound, because that's what the subconscious mind does, is try to keep us safe. And to really understand what you just said, it's already done. And it's not about convincing it's done. It is done, like a command, if you will. Thanks. I was curious.
Yes. We're allowing now. We are shifting into allowing. And
right.
I've personally seen that since I've kind of been around the country recently, and am in a part of the country that I thought I would never see any sort of consciousness or spirituality. And it's almost second nature to people. Not everyone, perhaps, but it's certainly emanating.
Yeah. I mean, I love that word, allowance. What do we need to allow ourselves or give permission to ourselves to be in order to become more aware and accept and become the light, which was the light bulb analogy. But I love the word I mean, all the A's: alignment, allow, accept. I look for patterns, but no, thank you for sharing that. That's great. From your perspective, I wanted to know.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, we will wrap up the Soul Fam podcast. Please like and subscribe here at the end. Please contact Sujan. He is a wealth of information and love and guidance, and he is worth every moment of your time and energy to spend with in order to move yourself into a whole new place of being. So please reach out to him at sdataboy@gmail or on his website, www.sujandata.com. And I know there's more to come, Sujan. I'm excited to see.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Soul Fam podcast. Be sure to tune in to every episode where we dive into a different rabbit hole of the known and unknown to empower you in conscious living and exploration of the greater universe. We hope you leave each episode with a little stardust in your hair and inspiration in your heart. With love from your Soul Fam.